All right, just got back to the house. Pretty quick flight back from Kansas City. Celebratory flight, and certainly some heroes on that plane. Tip of the cap to them. And here we go. What a night, right? Opportunity to celebrate the Chargers for, it's not official, but 95% according to some playoff odds there over at The Athletic. They're 8-2 in the conference. It's the best conference record. So when you talk about tiebreakers and how that all works out, now that they've hit that 10-win plateau, first time, by the way, back-to-back seasons with 10 wins since 2007, 2008. That's how long it's been. No, 2006, as a matter of fact, 2007. So nearly 20 years since they had back-to-back 10-win seasons, and that just goes to show you what Harbaugh can do, changing culture, belief, all the attrition this year. I think if you were to just put this Chargers roster on paper compared to some prior seasons, I'm not sure where it would slot in like the last, let's say, 10 years since I've been doing this, since they moved to Los Angeles. I don't think it would be number one, though, and I think this is a team that when you look at the current construct of the AFC, with this defense, with how Amari and Hampton looked, that explosive run to the left side there for 26 yards, I think you make a case that, they got as good a chance as anyone. And look, if they can win out, saw what happened with that Minnesota offense that had been struggling and how they put it on the Cowboys, something big tonight, scoring over 30 points. You can pack this defense, and it'll be interesting if for whatever reason, Jacksonville looks like a buzzsaw. That's who the Broncos are playing next week. Chargers win out going into Week 18, and the Broncos stub their toe, and it will most likely have to be against Jacksonville. That's going to be a game played in Denver. That Week 18 game could be for the division, could be for the Chargers going for 13 wins and improving on their record of 11-6 last year, which I think when Rashawn Slater went down, and then obviously the situation they had with Joe Alt in Week 4, and then again after just coming back. Oh, by the way, I'm going prees tonight, which is kind of the vibe I'm in right now. So I'm going to roll that style tonight. It just feels right. So, you can make a case. And I think a lot of people, I'm already seeing some of the comments about the Packers. I mean, look, Micah Parsons goes down. He's as important to that defense as a quarterback is to an offense, the amount of attention he commands, the pressure he puts. And I think you saw kind of where the Packers were before he went down and then after he went down, and it just kind of came up. They came up against it. So just kind of look at it through the Chargers lens. How do you feel about them going to Dallas with this defense, with some of the stuff we're going to get to that they found on offense? I was really impressed with the adjustments that Coach Roman made and just sort of how that 40-second drive at the end of the first half ignited something. And then all of a sudden you're seeing quick game. You're seeing more motion. The running game's more effective. Now the Chiefs defense is on their heels. They're not on their toes. I loved the Trevor Penning snaps. We talked about it on the pregame going into the game. 4 jumbo package snaps 2 weeks ago. 8 on Monday night against the Eagles, and then here he was with 31 snaps. I know some of those were filling in at right guard for Becton, but the great majority of them were jumbo package snaps, kind of filling in that Tucker Fisk role, just doing a bang-up job of it, man. So I think you're starting to see this thing come together. The quick game showed up there. Shot play shows up because the quick game showed up. That Trey Harris shot down the left sideline that set up the Keandre Lambert-Smith touchdown at the end of the first half. And so it felt like a completely different team. Second half, normally in games like this, and certainly you could make a case that we should have felt a little more stressed, but man, it just felt like they weren't going to get anything against this defense. And that sooner or later, Mahomes was going to throw that interception, because you look at last week's game against Houston, and he just gets frustrated. And last week he threw 3 interceptions, and here in this one he throws the pick. Obviously to Dan Henley, who's just trying to throw that thing away, but what a play by Henley, man, to come up with that thing. To get his head turned around, to track it, to secure it. That is not an easy interception for a defensive back to make, let alone a linebacker. But of course, remember, Dan was a safety for a while there before he became a linebacker. So, he's a guy that has those skills. And then Derwin, just think about all the chapters of the Derwin Kelsey saga and how many of them went Kelsey's way. And this one, nice to see Derwin get the advantage. And I don't know if you saw him after the game. He was talking to Chris Hayre on Channel 2 and said he knew exactly what was coming. He's like, yeah, I saw the formation. We've seen him do it before. Was just kind of making sure I was with him step for step. And then it was underthrown a little bit, and it was death. I thought it was a real interesting play call by Andy Reid, where really all you need is 4 or 5 yards. And, Butker is pretty much nails in that building, and he's got a long 62. The ball was flying pretty well, even though it was cold. I was really surprised. He had Minshew, kind of push that thing downfield and put it in harm's way, and it paid off. The Chiefs are out. The Chargers are essentially close to in. 95% feels pretty good with 3 games to go. They hit 10 wins in back-to-back seasons. They sweep the Chiefs for the first time since 2013, I think. I think they did it in 12 and 13. They did it in 8 and 9 and 12 and in 13. The Chiefs are missing the playoffs for the first time since 2014. Patrick Mahomes had never lost 3 games in a row in his career. You had to go back to 2016 at Texas Tech for that to pop up. And the Chargers are responsible for all of it. And I think, for the apologists out there, they were playing with an international pathway program player at left tackle and an undrafted free agent at right tackle. Don't care. The Patrick Mahomes got hurt, and that was, the intercept. Okay, well, Patrick Mahomes had his team in position to kick a field goal, and he threw an interception as well. So, I think the defense was the story of this game, just like it was the story of the last game. And just Herbert in the second half, man. Guy had 68 yards passing going into that final drive of the first half that he scored the touchdown on. And you look at that second half and how well he played, and he ends up getting out with a very respectable, 210, touchdown, interception, and the running game, 29 attempts on dropbacks, 29 rushes. Balanced. Way to go, Greg Roman. And I think you saw some of that juice from Hampton, man, especially on some of those short yardage carries where it's 3rd and 2 and he's picking up 4, and he's starting to get into his rhythm, man. And you can pack that. You can pack the defense, and it's stuff that plays in the postseason. I was talking to someone on the plane, and I said to him, I was like, man, DJ and I were talking about it, and it's fun being the bully. It's a fun style of football to be associated with when you're out there and you're bringing some lumber, man. And you got Derwin and Tony Jefferson thumping Rashee Rice. I mean, thumping that guy. And I think the hit on Tyquan Thornton, it was helmet to helmet. But remember, he's going down. I'm not trying to make excuses for Tony, but it's not like he's loading up and launching into his helmet upwards. He's going low, and the crown of his helmet is there. I think the flag was fine, but to eject him for that was weak. And I thought it was a response to just all of the sort of emotion that was going on in that building from those 2 big physical hits on Rashee Rice that were perfectly legal. And I think the refs, Sean Hockley and his crew, just kind of fell for it. It's stupid to eject him, and I can hope. And that's actually not even on Hockley. That probably came from Troy Vincent in New York. And I just thought it was BS that Tony got booted from that game because he had a heck of a game. Think of some other stuff that we can get to before we start interacting with you folks. And thanks so much for coming out. On the live. Oh, tip of the cap. Saw a handful of you. Saw Karen. Saw Heather. I think I saw Heather and Mary, our brisket broads, out there as well. But about 30, 40 people waiting for us at the bowl to celebrate. So we appreciate all of you. Thanks for doing that. Met a handful of people at Arrowhead. It was freezing when I was on the field pregame doing my lap. It was like 9 degrees, I think I saw on my watch. And ran into a couple folks. What were their names? Edwin. I think it was Edwin and Kendall. I want to say were your names that I talked to. Was chatting with a couple from Redlands, and Harrison Butker almost took my head off because I was right behind the field goal where he was warming up, chatting with them, not paying attention, which is, rule number 1. It's like turning your back on a wave, and all of a sudden I heard someone scream, "Look out!" Ducked my head this way, and as I turned this way, just right here, freaking, and that ball had to be hard too, with as cold as it was, would have certainly rung my bell. So yeah, all that. Trying to think anything else we want to get to. How about Ooway? Like, nobody's talking about that trade. Nobody is talking about the trade for Ooway that Joe Ortiz and his staff made. Guy's got 7 sacks since he got traded here at the deadline, and had 2 monster sacks in this game. Had a huge sack on that opening drive last week, and that massive pressure that helped lead to the overthrow on A.J. Brown that went to an interception for Cam Hart. Ooway has been huge for this team, and I think one thing you saw out there was just kind of a little bit of a different rotation for Jesse Minter. I think last week, remember, we saw Bud and Ooway out there together, and in this one, we did not see a lot of Bud. It was pretty much just rotating those 3 guys, Ooway, Thule, Khalil Mack, so they could each get a breather. And then out there together with Deshaun Hand, man, that NASCAR package. And you end up with 5 sacks. Ooway gets 2, Thule gets 2, Khalil Mack gets 1. And I just see it right here. I just saw opinion on Ooway coming back next year. I don't think there's any doubt. I think that they're going to try to get something done with both Ooway and Thule this offseason. Because then you get your edges locked down, right? You got 2 guys in their mid-20s just hitting their prime. Lock them up, and it's a premier position. So I'm going to suspect that Joe Ortiz definitely wants to get Ooway done along with Thule. And then let's hope that Khalil Mack wants to come back for another one, man. Let's get a playoff win and then some and make a run. Or we send Khalil off into the sunset as a Super Bowl champ. But, yeah, what a deal. Ooway's been great. Obviously, the interception from Deion, huge. The hits from Tony Jefferson, and Derwin had a monster game, right? 2 passes defense, the interception, 10 tackles out there. He was great. The rookies, I mentioned Trey Harris and Keandre Lambert-Smith, set it up with a return. We've been kind of looking where, Darius Davis is out. Naheem Miller-Hines, the only guy that's really had good returns all season. I even kind of did the reverse jinx. I said, man, I hope this ball finds its way into the hands of Idell, because Keandre just has struggled on these returns, and then bang, here he goes. He doesn't stutter. He doesn't try to change directions. He sees the hole. He hits the hole, and 40-yard return out to the 40-yard line. And that's what allowed that drive to get started. It's like, okay, we got timeouts, and our return was big enough where we can take some shots here. And sure enough, it paid off. And how about Herbert, man, just standing tall in there, taking some shots after it was really a struggle those first, 5, 6 drives, or 3, 4 drives in the first half, and then carried that momentum over into the second half. So tip of the cap to them. Scott Matlock, I thought, played his tail off today. He blocked great today as well. And, man, Nick Benito got a little bit. Nick Benito got one to the chin from Amarion, and then he got absolutely trucked by Matlock. They were bullies today, man. They were bullies, and it was fun. It reminded me a lot of all those games I called when I was doing college football, when it was Coach Harbaugh at Stanford. And Andrew Luck, tough as they come at quarterback, and Toby Gerhart, just a thumper in the backfield, and that offensive line and all those tight ends that would block their tails off, Toilolo and those dudes. And it's, look, this is how you win games in December, with teams that can operate in this manner. Defenses that can sack the quarterback, that can create turnovers, that can bow up in the red zone. Herbert threw that interception, and what did they do? They held him to a field goal. They weren't allowing touchdowns. After that opening drive, that was it. Think about it. They held the Kansas City Chiefs to 13 points. You look at what the Chargers are doing right now, and I mean, you can't score on them. Like, it's 13, 19, 14. Before that, the Steelers 10, Tennessee 20, Minnesota 10. This is a team that could be a handful when the playoffs roll around, and especially if you can hang on. Look, you can win that division, win these last 3 games, win the division. Now you're hosting a game. If not, if you're that number 1 wild card, if you're headed to Pittsburgh, you had a chance to end it for the Chiefs. Could you end Aaron Rodgers' career with a home playoff loss? There's a lot of opportunities in front of this team. Let me just go through the box score, see if there's anything else, see if I got any cool stats from my charts. So think about this. Let me get to the play-by-play chart here from this game. So Chiefs, 1 3-and-out, 2 3-and-outs, 3 3-and-outs, 4 3-and-outs. So the Chiefs had 4 3-and-outs in this game today. Coming into this, only 16% of their drives were 3-and-outs. That's 8th best in the league. They had Patrick Mahomes, more scrambles than he's had his entire career, and he's run more than he has in his entire career. Nearly a 20% scramble rate on his dropbacks. And the Chargers versus the scramble, a 44 quarterback rating is what they're putting up. So you think about scrambles and just staying plastered in coverage, and all those times where Mahomes would extend plays and you get these shots downfield and like, God, it's a 3rd and whatever, and he's still getting this thing to work because he's able to move. And instead, Mahomes had a quarterback rating of 62.9 in this game. And a lot of that was because he had to scramble, because he had those backup tackles in there, and they just couldn't protect. So he was on the move a lot. Let's see. They were 6-0 when facing a 3-game losing streak. See you later to that one. Mahomes had been averaging 3 sacks per game in his last 6. The Chargers ended up getting 5. Threw 3 interceptions last week. Minshew threw 1, but Mahomes had another in this one. What else do we got? Haven't missed the playoffs since 2014. They are now eliminated. Let's see if we got any other good notes I can get to. Let's see. Yeah, last week they gave up last week the Chiefs had a 66% pressure rate. Their best of the season against Houston. And I think after a tough start, they were able to figure it out. Greg Roman got a lot of that quick game going, got the running game going. How about that rope that Herbert threw to Gadsden? Even though they only got out of there with a field goal, having 1st and goal from the 5. Man, that was a sweet play. Let's see. Yeah, the Chiefs only 10 takeaways. They got 1 in this one. And, won back-to-back. Yes, first time they've won back-to-back 10-win season since 06-07. Here you go. Last week, Quentin, Keenan, Ladd, Gadsden, 7 catches for 49 yards. In this one, you had Gadsden with 61, Trey Harris with 49, Keenan Allen with 36, McConkey had 20, Lambert Smith the touchdown, first of his career, only the 2nd catch of the season for him, and it's a monster grab. Vidal with that 15-yard catch on the scamper. Matlock 2 catches for 9, so he really spread it around. And that's probably it as far as my notes go. And let's get to you. Let's get to the people. Get one more sip off this breeze. That's going to hit well in about a half hour. I'm very happy about that. Here we go. Man, a lot of you folks in here. All right. A lot of comments. Appreciate that, people. You're excited. I'm excited. It's a celebratory affair. Let's go, Matt. Nobody. Who's got it better than us? What a game. Hearts. Appreciate that. Bolt the F up. Lightning bolts. Felt like destiny. Swept the Chiefs, right? Leche. How about that, man? 2-0 against the Chiefs for the first time in over a decade. Yeah, you feel bad for Mahomes. No doubt, man. I hate seeing that. I don't want to see that guy with an ACL. It sucks. Beat him up, knock him around, make him feel it tomorrow morning, win the game, but an ACL sucks. It just does. And today you look at the way it worked around the league. The fact that Micah Parsons is down with an ACL, at least that's what they think. I don't know what's going on with Devontae Adams, but it sounds like he's got a serious injury, so it just stinks. It's been a bad year for injuries. Thoughts on the run game, Craig? I thought it was exceptional. I think you look at the stats, and it's not going to tell the story. 29 for 94, average 3.2, but they were hard yards. They were picking up first downs. Let me see if they have rushing first downs. I don't remember if they, 6 rushing first downs, 9 passing first downs. They averaged 5 per play. That thing was down to 2.3 with 40 seconds left before that drive. So it just kind of goes to show you it was a tale of two halves, and what they were able to do. And really, most of all, here's what the rushing does. And even though, you look at it and you're like, they didn't really run the ball that well. They rushed for 94 yards on 3.2. Look at the time of possession, 34-42 to 25-18. And that's what keeps that defense fresh and firing. So it always goes beyond kind of what are the yards per carry, how many yards did, not even 100 yards rushing, but 34-42 to 25-18. And the Chiefs were one of the best time of possession teams. I think they were second in time of possession. The Chargers were fourth. Chargers were, I think the Chargers were fourth. Chiefs were second. And now that's going to change dramatically. Let's go, all of you. Bolt gang. Jimmy, is Unk good? Yeah, Unk's good, man. Unk's incredible. What a night for our Superchargers and Phillip Rivers. You're right about that, Memos World. We were all watching it on the bus. And, man, as big as the smiles were for the win over the Chiefs, when Rivers threw that touchdown, the whole bus erupted, man. Everyone was jacked and excited for him, and it just tells you what the character of that guy and how much we love him, and how just incredible it is that he put that together. And you heard his message after the game about how proud his kids are that he coaches back at St. Michael's, and you saw the watch party. That's why, and I know I've done this before on here, but I don't care. I'll do it again. That's why that lunkhead Ryan Clark saying just such stupid stuff. It's just so dumb to come out and make a comment like that when Shane Steichen's a great coach. Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. If they thought that they could put something together that gave them the best chance to win, how about they know more than you? How about they know a lot more? How about they've forgotten more about football than you know, especially when it comes to the way their operation works. So, man, I was not to shut up the critics or anything. It's not like the guy didn't even pass for 125 yards or whatever, but he operated, man. He won that game for him. And the defense could not hold the Seahawks down in 1 minute. They have a 2-point lead with a minute to go, and Rivers would have won that game for him. Would have helped win that game for him. Take care of the football, make big completions. So, man, kudos to Phil. He's just the best. He's such a great dude, man. I could not be happier for that. Think about that. You take 5 years off, and you come back and you throw a touchdown pass in an NFL game against a team that's potentially going to be the 1 seed in the NFC and a favorite to win the Super Bowl, and you go into their house and you should have won that game, man. What an awesome, I hope you can hear it in my voice, because, man, it was cool. It was so cool to watch, and I wish you could just feel the energy on our bus as everybody was on their phone watching that thing and just laughing. And, I know I didn't want the Broncos to win, but Michael Bandy, another one of my favorites, man, I was happy to see him get a touchdown in that game. The Bandy man, one of our absolute favorites, local guy. So good for him too, man. It doesn't have to all be, zero-sum game. Can let some other good people around there get a little bit of shine as well, even if it's not exactly the way you want it to line up for your playoff run or whatever. Way to go, Bandy. Way to go, Phil. 8-2 in conference, 5-0 in division, fam. Huge chance to sweep the division, man. Sweep the Chiefs, sweep the Raiders, and now all you have to do is week 18, see if you can get the Broncos, go 6-0 in the division, man. It's awesome. Believe in this. Open it. What am I opening, Julie? Is it this? Yeah, this is what I got. This is what I got going. So that's what I opened. And congratulations to another one of our favorites, Kellen Moore. Huge fan of Kellen's, and he's got that Saints team, man. Swept the Panthers, knocked off the Bucks last week. They're having a serious impact on the NFC South. Rat City Skate Shop, love you guys. Love following you guys. Appreciate you. I think the Broncos can lose to the Jags, Combe. I think they had a real shot to luse to the Packers before Michael went down. So the Jags they look like a buzzsaw right now, man. They are rolling. Go Bolts from Glendale, bro. Let's go. What up, Money? What up, GC? 5-0 in the West. Crashed my car because I was laughing at DJs. Oh, yeah, Sky. He's remember, he's a quarterback who took a couple blind side shots when he wasn't expecting him. So he knows what that body feels like when you're not ready for it. And that comes. Don't mess with Unk is right. Money, I was there today. Thing of beauty, great tackle by Jeff, horrible call, agree. Well, like I said, it was helmet to helmet, so that I get, but ejecting him was stupid. Sweep the division? Absolutely, I think you can sweep the division. Look what I wore. This is what I wore, by the way. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna troll him. I'm gonna troll him a little bit because everybody's talking about, Chargers lose this game and Chiefs, and they would lose the tiebreaker. They have to beat the Texans or the Broncos, or else they have to beat the Broncos, or else the Chiefs could win out. And I'm like, hey guys, you see this? This is Herbert throwing for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns and scrambling to lock up this game. This is a team that was up 10 points with 5 minutes to go, with 2.5 minutes to go in that game. They already beat him. They already beat him once. So this is a team that everybody was betting up the Chiefs. Yeah, I think it opened at 4.5 and it found its way to 6 by the time kickoff came around. And it's like, I understand that the chips are down and things have been a little bit tough and it might not look pretty. It's a team that's winning, man, and already knocked them off. So yeah, this is what I was wearing around the press box. Was our Sao Paulo? It's like, remember that one, guys? Because I remember seeing you guys in the airport. You were all super sad as you were boarding your plane, and we were all super happy boarding ours. So it's kind of fun. Let's see what else we got. Rookies contributing. Oh wow, this thing went all the way down to the bottom. I hate when it does that. I got to go all the way back up to the top. Here we go. Still, we got a lot of comments. I want to try to get to all of them. Rivers, statement win. Yeah, I'm still way behind. Team can rush 4. Swept the Chiefs. Felt like this. Okay, here we go. This is about where I was. Yeah, brisket broads. And I already talked about Rat City. Love those dudes. What up, Cheesy? Yep, we did that. Don't mess with Uncle. Okay, yeah, so I think I'm caught up here. Team can rush 4 and destroy. You're right about that, Spencer, especially when they got that NASCAR package out there with Thule inside of Ooway or Khalil, with Deshaun Hand as the other lineman. That's been very, very good. So, and I think they're going to be able to keep that going. Stats don't show Chargers so much more physical. Oh, yeah. I mean, Coach, you're never going to see who the bully is in the stats. You just watch the game. The Chargers were busting those guys up, man. I mean, it was... Last week was physical against the Eagles for sure. It was both teams going at it. This one, that, like I said, Chargers were the bullies out there, man. They were physically dominating that game. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. So this would be necesito tener Adrian y Pancho en el, I don't know, espectacular. I think. So the both familia su español. Yeah, it's not great. No es genial. I don't even think that would work, right? Because that's just kind of like great. Pero es so-so. I can be better. I get caught up, man. When I start speaking, I just always feel like everything's going to be wrong, So I don't know. So that would be what? Cuando empiezo a hablar, me siento weird. All right, here we go. Thoughts on Unc getting ejected? I thought it sucked. Packers couldn't do us a favor. Again, I think 0. That's Micah getting hurt. And all the Chargers have to do is win out. Because I think the Jags are going to get the Broncos next week. Should be able to get Dallas. Yeah, look, they have a really good offense, but I think this defense is going to be able to do some things. And let's see if the offense can really get into some rhythm. Harbaugh's the man, no doubt about that. Back-to-back 10-win seasons, man, for the first time since 2007. Where can I get a hoodie like yours? This was just team issue, so I don't think these things are available for purchase. This is one of those team-only things that they gave us for our trip down to Sao Paulo. So stoked on this one. Oh, check this out. I don't know if you guys saw this, but where did it go? Shoot, I had it, and now I don't know where it went. Oh, here we go. Look at this hat I got. Put this on your Christmas list. I don't know if you guys, anybody that might have seen me walking around, check this out. This was my cold weather Elmer Fudd cap. So it's got the fur on the inside, and then you just kind of snap it there. and it kept me nice and warm while I was out on the field for like an hour chatting with all the fans. And for some reason, I can't get it to snap. There we go. Yeah, check that out. So that was, this is new stuff, and I do think this is available. So do yourself a favor and buy one of these for your favorite Charger fan. It's got a cool little kind of, you can tighten it on the back, so I can get it nice and tight up top. So yeah, get yourself that. It's a good one. Yeah, see, it's got like this cool little thing on the back that gets it nice and tight, and it's just all fur on the inside. So that's a big win. I would highly recommend that because I was down on the field with it, and it was awesome. All right, let's see. Too many injuries around the league. Yeah, league feels wide open. I'm with you, Kev. Defense playing with their hair on fire. Tip of the cap to Vic the Brick on that one. You're not that late, Camp. You're good. I'm just rolling through all the comments now. Statement win. Yeah, you sweep the Chiefs. You knock them out of the playoffs. That's a good one. That's a really good one. GEOK 804. Giak 804. Harbaugh for Coach of the Year. Right? Think about the attrition this team has had to deal with. On offense, Najee, Amari Hampton, Joe Alt, Rashawn Slater. At some point, Mekhi Becton misses half the season, so you're losing 3 of your 5 offensive linemen for the entire season for Slater, overwhelming majority of the season for Alt, and Mekhi Becton for half. And then you lose your bell cow running back Najee Harris, your first round pick, goes out in week 5, doesn't return until week 14. And you're going to win, seeing how this thing ends up. Yeah, if they run the table and they end up winning the AFC West, I do think he'll win Coach of the Year. I mean, after today, the collapse by New England, I mean, who else is there, right? I'm trying to think, who else would there be that's in contention right now? I guess you got McVay. You got, let's see. Let's go through it because you have to win a division. Like you're not gonna win it probably as a wild card. Sean Payton, Liam Cohen, I think you got in the mix. Harbaugh, D'Amico Ryans. Think about how they started out, and if they end up winning the South, they're only a game back of the Jags. Ben Johnson, what he's doing with the Bears. Mike McDonald with the Seahawks. So yeah, there's some candidates, but I don't see any. That's a great call. Harbaugh's absolutely in that mix. Surtain with the game-changing pick. See, we were already in the air, and I couldn't get the game, so I missed that. How do we feel about Greg Roman? I feel like you talk about adjustments in that second round, John Malloy. And I thought he did a hell of a job getting that thing right in the second round. All those Trevor Penning jumbo package snaps, I thought the run game was great. I loved what he was doing with the run design. And they adjusted, right? They got to some quick game. They started booting Herbert a little bit more. It's just a completely different looking game in the second half. So I think we judge them by the 2 halves. And they got to win. They got to win last week, got to win this week. And I thought the adjustments were great. And I'm really looking forward to more of that Trevor Penning 6 lineman stuff because that was fun. Right on, Jayhawk Nation. You're going to be in Dallas. Love to see you there. What else do we got? Short week coming. KC back against the wall, frigid temps. Would have gained them past with a loss the way they played well. Yeah, I think a lot of people. I mean, look, they were overwhelming favorites. 6 points is a lot for a team that already beat you once. Yeah, I agree with you, Leche, that they ejected him because he had already made a couple big hits and the crowd was all pissed. And, they just kind of played into that. Not looking past the Cowboys, don't look past the Cowboys. I think that's where you got to stay. Get that win because that's a team with CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Javonte Williams is running the ball really well. Dak Prescott's having a really good season. Their defense just stinks right now. But we've seen their defense bow up. Did it against the Eagles after they fell behind 21-0. Next thing you know, they're putting all kinds of pressure on them, and they end up winning that game. So same thing. They came up with some critical stops against Mahomes on Thanksgiving Day. So a lot of Dallas defense, wishful thinking. Is Giro playing possum? No, he gave the middle fingers after the ejection. He had already been ejected. Proud of Rivers, aren't we all? See you in Dallas. All right, Tristan, can't wait to see you there. Defense dominating, dialed in. Glad they found a use for Penny. Yeah, look, and don't forget Spencer. He was in there at guard in place of Ejection when he went out for a few snaps. So, he's athletic. I think that, and then you saw when he played guard, they brought Deculus, who's also a real athletic tackle. So it's kind of like, hey, this is what we're doing. We're going to be playing this style of football. Even though Mekhi Becton went down and Penny can no longer be that jumbo package line outside, lineman, don't worry about it. We'll plug him in at guard, and here comes Deculus, who's also incredibly athletic. We're just going to kind of run it with him. Adjustments good. Are they really capable? I mean, they're capable, Ethan, if the defense plays that way. If you can't score 20 points, then that's when you can kind of drag teams into the deep end. And it comes down to execution. And you got a kicker that you feel like is never going to miss when he jogs out there. And that's how you win playoff games, by a field goal. So, yeah, I think with this defense, anything is possible. Any chance Minter stays one more year? J-Webb, I don't know. Selfishly, I'd like it. But also selfishly for him, he deserves to be a head coach. He's just so engaging. He's so good at the podium in pressers. You see what he does. Dude, Christian Fulton is a healthy scratch. They just signed him to a $20 million deal based on what they saw him doing in L.A., and what Jesse Minter had him doing. Dante Jackson's on a 2. We still got one more year with Dante Jackson on $6 million a year. And that dude is nails. Lockdown. You can't get anything by that guy. So it just goes to show you how good he is. Ooway, 0 sacks in Baltimore, 7 with Jesse Minter. Deion Henley, can't get on the field with Brandon Staley, playing at a Pro Bowl level. Monster interception earlier today, captain of the defense. The guy's incredible. If I'm Michigan, I'm going to talk about being able to kind of just scrub that thing clean and have someone show up and you feel pretty damn good about how that thing's going to go when it comes to winning the presser and making sure the guys that are signed and committed feel good about it. That's a no-brainer. If I'm the Giants and I got that defense, you want to bring in Jesse Minter and you've got Abdul Carter and Dexter Lawrence and Kayvon Thibodeau and you got that whole lineup out there. Come on, man. I think Minter's a head coach. Love the 6-0 lineman plays. Tony Jefferson, a lot of this on getting ejected. I don't think we win if Mahomes doesn't blow out his knee. I mean, who knows, dude? Before he blew out his knee, we already went through this, didn't we? And this is it's you're looking at the name on the back of the jersey and not what's in front of you. Before he blew out his knee, Patrick Mahomes was 16 of 28 for 189 yards, an interception, took 5 sacks, and had a rating of 62.9. I've heard that Kelsey is a dirty player. I don't think that's true. I would not call Kelsey a dirty player. I think he's maybe someone that used to play through the whistle, maybe a beat after the whistle, but, whatever. That's why Tart slapped him upside the head, because he was playing a little bit after the whistle, gave him a little shove, and Tart just gave him a little open hand slap, right? Top 5 defense, get just enough out of the offense. Playoff wins, no doubt about that. That's from Trent. What more does Greg Roman got to do to get into the GOAT convo? Or is that Greg Allman? Sean Smith always comes at me with the Allman Brothers stuff. Team is gritty, says Linda. I agree. Out physically in a team like the Chiefs feels great. It sure does. Going to sleep. All right. Lil Domu. Get to sleep as you're out in Dallas. Enjoy your work tomorrow morning as you're listening to this on the way into the office. Did I surf Friday? I did. I did surf Friday, Russ, and it was pumping. Was it super foggy? No, Thursday was the really foggy day. Yes, Friday was surprisingly bigger than I thought it was going to be, and I ended up getting some really good rides. Friday was the foggy day, I feel like. Did I get any barbecue in Missouri? I did. I went to Joe's, and it was delicious. If you're going to Kansas City, make sure you go there. And they treated us so well, man. I went in with Chris Hayrie, who was doing a piece for CBS. And, man, they took us back into the kitchen. They were bringing us out all kinds of food, man. The platter was as big as my freaking torso. Ribs and brisket and pulled pork and burnt ends. So go to Joe's. Joe's is the king, man. It's really, really good. Briskets, thanks for stopping to fist bump your fans. Absolutely, Heather, and I'm glad to hear Mary was out there too. I didn't see her. But yeah, I mean, come on. You guys come out. You take your time to drive from wherever you are to the bowl to cheer us on. I mean, shoot, the least I could do is roll down the window and give you a little fist bump. Let's see. Derwin. Plane ride was great. Family Trust Chiefs. There you go. The old FTC. Herbert. Bolt up bros all day. Dicker the kicker. Love him. Yeah, if you missed it, check out our Chargers Weekly with Dicker. It was a really fun conversation. He's just a high-quality individual, man. A little too late for me this week. Catch up later. All right there, Mitch. Didn't want to go to overtime. Yeah, the overtime, I think, they knew was going to be a problem with Minshew. Coming up on the end. That's going to start hitting me pretty soon. Amazing win today, Alan. Shout out to Jim Harbaugh keeping this team locked in, no doubt. Ruth, hey, Matt. Hey, Ruth. Mahomes, speedy recovery. No doubt about that, man. Get healthy. Hopefully you're back for the start of next year. Yep, KLS had that huge return. The speed helped take the top off the defense a little bit. First drive, ran all the way down the field. I love that too, Coach. Just run. Ended up stalling out and getting the field goal, but it was a lot of runs, a lot of physical action. 30-second TD drive was incredible. They nearly doubled their production. I think they had 68 yards, I said, going into that 40-second drive, and they got 60 on that drive alone. Cannot wait to hear what Lo has to say about this game. He's going to love this game. I can tell you that right now on Wednesday. He's going to be awfully excited about what this thing looked like. Thank you, Chloe. As you said, thank you, Money. How awesome the Chiefs are. How they're so ahead of the competition. Thank God. Yeah, exactly. The Chiefs are done this year. But, 7 straight AFC championship games, 5 Super Bowls, 3 wins. May this be the end of the dynasty. And if it is, it was a heck of a run, but may it be over. What am I sipping on? Eric, I'm sipping on this. You can look it up if you like. I enjoy them. Pass game improvements in the second half, Andy. What led to that? Well, I think they were more effective running the ball. So I think play action was working a little bit better. They started booting Herbert a little bit, and the quick game, they got a little bit quicker, or a couple quick throws out there that were able to pick up some yardage. And then I think the pocket just started staying cleaner. He took that shot down to Trey. The pocket was the cleanest it was all day on that 40-second touchdown drive at the end of the first half. Stayed pretty clean. He had to climb up a little bit to deliver that strike to Gadsden. They gave him a first and goal from the 5, but I think the pass protection just held up a little bit more. Bully ball. What about Ladd? Yeah, I think Ladd, they need to get him more involved, man. I need to see Ladd with more than 3 targets. He's too good. Lambert Smith, free Unk. Hampton breaks a long one next week. Yeah, 26 is a pretty long run. That's a big explosive, but yeah, I'm with you. See if you can get like that 50-yarder for a touchdown. Let's see. Geez, I feel like we got so much more. Yeah, I thought so too. Vidal, that Kimani Vidal ran the ball better than the stats show. T. Jeff, a lot of T. Jeff bullying. Loved it. They're not going to suspend him, Tom. They won't suspend Tony. I'd be even surprised if they find him. They're going to find him because, should have done that. They're going to find him because of the middle finger. Late night with me, exactly. What are we at? 9:42. Boom. Happened with Ladd. No, he hasn't been off. Ladd had a nice little run there for a minute. It's just been these last couple games for whatever reason. Get Trey more targets. I agree with that. I'd like to see Trey get a few more targets per game. What do you have in this one? 5 targets for 3 catches and 49 yards with a long of 37. 7 sacks. Let's go Ooway. All right, what else we got? Thanks again, Matt, for these. Chargers were bringing the wood, no doubt about that. Ooway has worked out for us. Ooway a beast. Bolt up. Says Kiko. Appreciate you, Kiko. I think I already talked about that. Ooway, I do think he'll be back next year, as will Thule. I think both of them will get extensions. There's Brisket Broads telling me Mary was there. You guys are going to Cayman's tomorrow. Fly safe, guys. Big fan. I'm a big fan of you, Arn. Thank you. Here we go. So this must have come up when I was talking about Ooway. Shout out to Thule. Yeah, dude. Thule, 2 more sacks. He's got 12 now this year. How about that? Freaking Thule with 12 sacks this season in a contract year, 3 tackles for loss. I'm sure PFF grades, he's going to end up being a top 5 defensive end. I know Joe Ortiz doesn't want to hear me say that because of how much those guys make. They're showing my calls on the game, on the Peacock post-game highlights. Good deal. Love those folks over there. Tarico's one of my favorite people. Collinsworth, wonderful human being as well. Maria and I actually did a show together called $1 Million Mile that was on TV for about, a blink of an eye. I'm sure I was when you look at everybody else on that show, like Tim Tebow's the face of the SEC network. Maria Taylor's one of the most popular hosts in America. And this was the 3rd host. And he's doing an Instagram live at 9:42. I wonder who was the poison pill in that production. You're looking at him right here. Kyle Van Noy, Aloe collaborating on that Ravens TD to eliminate the Bengals. Trey Harris, more 50-50 balls. Bosa has less sacks than Ooway. Thank you, Charger fan. Great game call today. I appreciate that. What else we got? Thought our lines played well. Yeah, they struggled a little bit at the start, but I thought they settled in pretty darn well. Defensive line was fantastic all game. Let's get Mac 5th season, retire as a Charger. I agree. Let's get Mac a Super Bowl, fam. How about that? Let's get him a playoff win. He has not had one of those. Let's get him into the AFC Championship. Let's get him to the Super Bowl. And let's win the whole damn thing. Interior line, the whole Chiefs line is a disaster. No Trey Smith. Caliendo was a sieve today. Thoughts on Rivers? I think I addressed that, Andy. If you're just checking in, it made me smile bigger than I have watching sports in a long time. Address the IOL this offseason. Yeah, I could see them doing that for sure. What time did we get in? I think we landed, I want to say we landed at 6:40, 6:45-ish. And then by the time, we get on the bus, get back to the facility, get your car to the lot, drive home. I actually gave DJ a ride down to Seal Beach. His wife met him up here because he flew out. His son had their state championship game in Buena Park on Friday night, so he met us in Kansas City. We left a day early. Tranquil always has good games against the Chargers, no doubt about that. Love Drew Tranquil. Nick Bolton took one on the chopper, cracked his chin open. Shout out Vidal tackle after the interception, exactly right. Ashton Gelati's probably got him by 100 pounds. Not that much, but 60, 70 pounds. What a game, undefeated in the division, great game. Harbaugh old school style. KLS. Thumpers on defense. What else we got? Unc will not get suspended. We talked about that. Yeah, I would like to see KLS more. Important part of my childhood listening to Stanford games on the radio. That's funny that you heard those. We're done. That one's done. That was 12 ounces too. So there we go. All right, let's wrap this thing up. I feel like I've been on for about an hour. How much more do I have? Oh, wow, there's a lot. Geez, you guys, so many comments. Shout out from SAR. Let me try to get through these. So let's cut the comments so I can try to get through these. South Central, what's up, Bones? Herbert running game. Raiders, oh, man. Whew, that was pretty ugly, right? That was hilarious. 31-0. I saw that Max Crosby pregame speech. That was actually pretty funny. Appreciate you doing this. Appreciate you, Bones. Thanks, man. Don't say that about Drew. They can't stand Tranquil. He's a great guy. Really, truly one of the good guys out there. And I think you saw after the game, him and Herbert embraced. So those two are still very close. How do I keep my hair so silky smooth? I wear that ridiculous hat. It's actually driving me crazy today right now. I think because it was in that hat so much. And my hair's terrible. Signing all 3 back, I think that'd be great, Bandar. I would sign them all. What else we got? What's up from the UK? I miss you on Channel 5. Yes, I so miss doing that show. I used to have the best time with Maurice Jones-Drew on that show. It was so much fun. Kirsten Watson, MJD, and me. And for people that don't know, let's do it. Let's end it on this, folks. let's end it on this. So, for those of you that don't know, I was fortunate enough to be part of the Monday Night Football broadcast that would go live in London. It'd be like in the middle of the night, right? So, what was it, 5 p.m. here? So, it would kick off at like, 10, 12, like midnight over there, 1 a.m. over there, 2 a.m. over there. And so we would do, oh, nice, it works. So we would do, we would pick, how do we do it? I remember what it was. So I would take my horses. So let's say it was like what's tonight's, let's do our Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football is going to be Steelers versus Dolphins, I think, right? So Steelers versus Dolphins. So we're going to go black for the Steelers, and we're going to go orange for the Dolphins. And we're going to put them in lanes 3 and 4, and this is what we called the horse race predictor. So Mo would give his game pick, Kirsten would give her game pick, and then it would come to me, and I'd be like, I'm not picking. I'm going horse race predictor. And so you get your horses, and this became a huge thing over in the UK that people were freaked out by it because it worked. Because I would describe what I thought the score was going to be based on how the horses finished. So here we go. Ready? Horse race predictor. Black, Steelers. Let's go this way so you can see it. Orange, Dolphins. And they're off. Here they go. All right, so we're in the first quarter. Pretty tight game. Steelers up, we'll say, by a field goal here at the half. Here's our halfway point. So we're going to say Steelers up 3 at the half. And coming down the stretch, Steelers pulling away. They're up 10, but Dolphins are closing. And, there we go. It's going to be Steelers. We're going to take the Steelers by 4 in that game. And that was the sort of stuff that I brought to the Monday Night Football in the UK broadcast. Thank you for reminding me of that, Harbaugh. I miss doing the Channel 5 Monday Night Football coverage. Mushy P all the way down in Sydney. I'm hoping we're coming to Australia with the Rams next year. That's my great hope. And I'll give you a little Australian story here. We had, I wish I could remember her name. We had an Australian that worked for us with the Chargers, and I'll never forget, we were on the road, and we were downstairs. We were at this weird hotel that had like this mall downstairs, and we were all sitting in the bar down there and having a couple pops, and, the whole Australian accent thing came up, and I'll never forget, she said, if you want to know how to if you ever want to get an Australian accent perfect, here's the best thing I can give you. Say the 3 words, my bull fine, and then say them quickly together. So my bull fine, and then she would go, all right, now say it quick, my bull fine. She's like, that's how we say mobile phone, my bull fine. And when you hear it, it's like, oh yeah, that is it, my bull fine. All right, any word on QJ? Nothing today. Let's wrap this thing up because I'm getting stupid now. Collinsworth, I didn't see him, but I do like Chris, and I love Mike Tirico. What else we got? Thoughts on Davey Havoc? So look, Davey's getting older, man, and I dig the new music. So I think you hit a certain age, and you're like, yeah, can I really still do the jet black dyed hair, eye makeup sort of thing? But I'm a huge Davey fan, man. We were so lucky that we signed AFI when I was at DreamWorks, and I was such a big fan of them prior to that, and so to be able to work 2 of those records was super cool, and just being a little part of that was a lot of fun. Really good dudes, so big AFI guy. All right, let's Jefferson. Don't know why he was ejected. Rebel. We kind of talked about that. QJ was just nursing an injury. And they ended up keeping him out. What was the Korean show you talked about on the last game recap? No Mercy, I think was the one. And right now I just started to watch The Last Samurai Standing. There's another Korean one that I'm into. So that's what I've been watching. But I want to say that was No Mercy was the one that I was talking about. Really good. Love the fact that the ball's been distributed. Lads, quite all right. I feel like we got it. If I missed you, I apologize. TJ Watt, get better ASAP. I see that. Northern California love, appreciate that, Juan. Money as far as playoff seedings go, who do we want? I want to win the division. And I'm not just saying that because I do think it's in play. I think if you get the Broncos, Jags next week, I think that's a toss-up game. And I feel pretty good about the Chargers and their rhythm right now going into Dallas. And you win that game, and now you're just a game behind them. And if that's it, and then you control your own destiny. You knock off the Texans at home, and then you go week 18 to Denver. That'll be for the division. So if the Chargers went out and the Broncos only slip up one time, then division's going to be the Chargers because they'll own the tiebreaker. So that's what I'm still pulling for. Juan, why don't I announce who wins the tickets? Because I don't run that. iHeartRadio runs that. So I just do it for them because I work for iHeart. So I just announce, and then they're the ones that pull it, and they post it, I think. Or they alert the winner. I feel like they put it on there, and then I think they take it down or something like that. But they do post it. So just kind of pay attention to what their bio says. Joe's Barbecue Delicious, been there many times. Best for posting these. Caught the end of the game on the radio. You and DJ are awesome. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate that. JD Thompson. DJ's awesome. I just try to stay out of his way. Hey, Noah. All right. That's good. Let's go. You're right on with your pregame analysis of punting, kicking, and scoring. That's it, man. As long as it ends in a kick or a touchdown, we're good. Everything else, no bueno. Appreciate you guys and gals. Thank you. Enjoy the win. Hopefully a lot of you are still on an adrenaline high over the fact that they swept the Chiefs for the first time in nearly 20 years. So 10 wins, back-to-back seasons, first time since 2006, 2007. And again, I wore this to troll the Chiefs fans when I got there, and it worked out. So I'm very happy about that. All right, everybody, have a great night. Thanks so much for doing it with me. I always love doing these. Gives me a reason to drink something and feel a lot better. All right, man. Appreciate y'all. Take care. Have a great one.